guy sat in the room in front of the laptop and flipped through the phone, receiving birthday greetings, and then decided to cut a cake. After tasting it, he noted with disgust that the cake tasted disgusting. Irritably throwing away the cake, he thought that he had spent 29 won on it. He should have bought beer instead. On Twitter, he posted a photo with a cake, thanking his friends. Looking at this post, I sadly thought that he was just tired of being alone. He would like to hear at least one wish for recovery when he is lying down with a fever. Suddenly, his head was swollen with heat, and he wondered why his wish had never been granted, since it was so simple. He hears someone yelling for help and thinks that this person is being chased. And he sees a beast that wants to devour him and does not understand what kind of creature it is. A girl appears and activates the split darkness technique when the monster is almost upon him. A scarlet tornado is formed, which draws the beast into itself. The guy regains his breath, confused, wondering if he was transported somewhere. That girl approaches him shouting and addressing him as Zhang Xiaopi. After hitting him and scolding him, he asks why he is running around in inner space. Her punch throws him back, and she asks irritably if he's tired of living. He is clutching his head after being hit, pretending that his name is Zhang Xiao. He knows it sounds cliched, but he seems really transported. He says that this world is called the Star War continent. The main difference between this world and ours is the presence of stargates leading to other dimensions filled with strange creatures. There is a star power, a mystical energy, and only a few have gained the ability to perceive it by becoming awakened with star charts. The limit of a talent is determined by the number of points on its map. The more points, the higher the potential. He ended up in the body of a guy named Zhang Xiaopi, who was an awakened person but only had 9 star points. The girl asks how much longer he will sit. He recognizes her as Han Jiangshui. She brought the original owner of this body to this world and had 30 star points. Saying that he will be cold, she helps him up. Another girl, waving her hand and saying that she finally found them, asks Xue how she is. As she lashes out at Xue, asking if she's hurt herself, Zhang says to himself that according to his memories, this is Xue's best friend, Xiaoyan, who has 28 points. She warns Zhao threateningly that one careless move and he's dead, and Zhao stammers an apology. She says with a grin that she's never seen Xue look so pale, and he says he won't run away again. Zhu had brought the old Xiao Pai here to train him before class, as he had become arrogant and lazy after waking up. During the hunt, for a moment she lost sight of him. As the guy panicked and ran, Shui arrived in time, otherwise he would have been devoured by one of the beasts. Suddenly, he stops and realizes that Zhue only killed one of them. The next moment, while they were standing there, he sees another beast running towards them. He rushes towards Zhui, shouting, trying to warn her. But she grabs him, holds him close, and looks back in alarm. But Xiaoyan is using her magic to restrain the beast. And with his huge sword with the incineration technique, he runs straight at the beast. She slams at it furiously, but the beast manages to block her blow, and a burst of fiery power crashes down on her. She is thrown back, and by the strength of the hide, she knows that the beast is of high rank. Getting excited, she says that he is just a lone snow thestral and he dared to attack her. She activates the Firefox technique and deals a crushing blow. Suo still doesn't let go of him, and he admires that she was able to take the beast down in just 2 hits. Zheyan happily tells Xue that they have an amazing teamwork. But when he sees that she is still holding Xiao, Xiaoyan is stunned. Angry, he approaches them and tells them to quickly uncouple. And grabbing Xue, he adds that the smell of blood will attract other monsters, and after collecting the star beads, they will retreat. After hearing about the star beads, he remembers that they are located inside these creatures and when absorbed, give a chance to get their star techniques. Star techniques are techniques that monsters use during battle. Interrupting him from his thoughts, calling him a bad boy, Xiaoyan calls him to them. She wants to show you how to check the beast for the presence of a bead so that it does not fail the basics again and does not upset Xue. Xiao guesses and asks what's on their minds after all, she playfully confirms, praising him. And taking the knife in his hand, he explains that thestrals have very strong skulls. To get a bead, you need something sharp. We need to find a suitable angle and force it open, she continues, and plunges the knife into the dead thestral. Reaching right into the brain, he sifts through its tissues, looking for the bead. But without finding it, he is upset and realizes that this thestral does not have a bead. Turning to Xiao, passing the knife, he says that he will practice on another one. Barely able to hold the knife, he thinks to himself that he didn't even cut fish until he was 25. And now he's being asked to open Thestral's brain. But he almost died. Only getting into this dangerous world, if he doesn't learn, he won't last long, and swings a knife. After opening Xiao ribs, unfortunately, both Thestrals were without beads. Xiaoyan says that star beads are rare, and it is even more difficult to get the technique. Many people do not master a worthwhile technique in their entire life. So the awakened one needs luck as well as talent, she adds. And the awakened one wipes his mouth and absently replies that he understands. Yer excitedly asks Wu Xiao if he is okay. She notices in her mind that it seems to her that Xiao has suddenly matured. Maybe it's after the blow. She says that when he ran away, they were collecting star beads, and showing the bead, she says that it is the white ghost shaman's bead and tells him to consume it. When he sees it, he is surprised and says, "This is what these magic beads look like." And he thinks that each point on the star map can only contain one technique, so he can only absorb 9 beads. When he touches it, everything flares up like a thunderstorm. In the next instant, he finds himself in an unknown space, and a general overview of the star map appears in front of him, where the current star map, strength, techniques, combat level, and abundance of star power are indicated. Xiao thinks that he is now inside his own consciousness and assumes that since he has the current star map, then there may be another one. Suddenly, a beep sounds and the download starts. And there is information about the techniques of the white ghost shaman's star bead and a request to absorb it or not. Xiao is surprised that there is even an evaluation function. Others don't learn one bead technique, and he can combine 2 into 1 point. How can he turn down such luck and click yes without hesitation? And after the bead in his hands shatters into small fragments, Xu asks if he has received the star technique. Before Xiao can answer, Jia Yan screams, telling Shui that they're in trouble. Xu quickly grabs Xiao, who doesn't understand what's going on, and Jia Yan explains that the hunting party is heading straight for them. The guy informs the captain that 2 snow thestrals have been found with their skulls opened, suggesting that they are prey from another group. One of them says that they passed a pack of thestrals that was killed, and suggests that maybe the same team did it. Tom wonders if the white ghost shamans gave them the beads, and how did they explain to the head of the family that they didn't find the cubs, so they barely scraped the bead yet. The captain chuckles and tells everyone to be on the lookout for the white ghost shaman's cubs. He adds that if they meet the group, they will simply take the bead away by force. And Xie and Xia Yan listen with bated breath and shut up Xiao. After examining the snow thestral, the captain gives the command to move on. And when they finally leave, they let out a sigh of relief. Xiao asks why they want to take the cubs and the star beads. Jia Yan once again calls him a badass and asks if he knows how rare white ghost shamans are. She says that compared to ordinary white ghosts, they are very unique, because there is only one shaman in each clan. Adds that these beads contain healing techniques, and these are the rarest skills. For a white ghost, you can get 5 or 700, and for a shaman, all 200,000, which makes him staggering. Sue warns that in interspace, you should be wary of not only monsters but also people. Adds that many awakened ones have star beads, although the technique cannot be extracted from someone else's, but the star power in them is much denser. Xiao is shocked to realize that even if the awakened ones have the beads in their hands, they can simply cut him down for the sake of the bead. Now he understands why they decided to hide and thinks about what kind of hell he went to, where he will be killed by either monsters or awakened ones. Zhu cheers them up and says they'd better get out of here. Because it's getting dark and he and Jiayan are running out of star power, it's worth getting back to the supplies before dark for safety's sake. Everyone continues onward through the snow in silence. Zhu notices that Xiao is completely drooping and thinks that it's because he couldn't get the technique from the shaman's bead. She says that it's okay if the equipment didn't work out and asks not to put too much pressure on yourself. Xie replies with a smile that everything is fine and says to himself that he is simply stunned by how cruel this world is. Suddenly, dozens of snow thestrals appear in front of them. Xiayan reports that there are 16 of them and wonders where they all came from. Su says that white ghosts are not social animals, so the fact that there are so many of them can only mean one thing. Xiayan finishes for her, saying that there is a shaman in this clan. Xiao says in shock, "Didn't she say that they should be extremely rare?" She says they don't usually make large-scale raids on people, 1 or 2 can still be dealt with. But with such a horde, she raises her sword, activates the incineration technique, and cuts the ghost in half. At this time, Zhui summons a flurry and activates the split darkness technique. But Xiao is also attacked by a white ghost. Not knowing what to do, he freezes on the spot. Seeing this, Sui doesn't hesitate for a second to expose herself to the blow, covering it with herself. The ghost stabs her in the back and throws her to the side, and Jiayan sees this and screams for her. Xiao frantically calls out to her as he bleeds. He suddenly remembers the star technique he received, the blessing. In the next instant, she is in space and feels a strange sensation, as if she is falling into a vast ocean of star power. She can feel the wound on her back closing quickly, causing itching. Her entire body feels warm, as if she's basking in a spring. The next moment, she wakes up and feels a rush of heat wash over her. Shu takes her in his arms and sees her breathing hotly, wondering what's wrong with her. Other snow wraiths are already rushing towards them, making muffled growls. He suddenly comes to her senses and abruptly gets to her feet. Xiao is surprised to see a star map appear behind her. She reactivates the scarlet holes that suck in the white ghost. After that, the scarlet holes are closed, and in their place there is only crumbling ash. Then a screen appears that says, "First kill of the white ghost and +1 to skills." Jia Yan runs towards her, happy that Sui is still unharmed. She responds by not being distracted and thinking about the opponent, and starts to ignite the flame in her hand. And with its magic called Hellfire, it burns the second ghost. She says that their strength is running out. While they can still fight, they need to finish off the ghost shaman. With a roar, the shaman activates the blessing technique and heals the other white ghosts. She says that the ghost shaman is treating them, and if they don't stop him now, they will be crushed by exhaustion. And turning to Zhu, he says to use the wild wind to launch it into the sky. She immediately activates the technique, rising into the air. Xiao looks around and thinks, where is this creature hiding? Still he finds it. The shaman is hiding surrounded by two white ghosts. He gives her the coordinates, 200 meters to the southwest, and she announces aloud the breakthrough there. From one side, Jiayan is rushing towards them with his sword, activating a fiery arc. However, after the blow, she immediately realizes that it was a decoy and hurriedly warns the others. Xiu runs and shouts that his real body is right in front of him, but two white ghosts, who had previously covered the shaman, rush straight towards him. The two men scream in panic when they see him being attacked, and Xiao only manages to cover himself with his hands. When the white ghost strikes, Xiao disappears. Xiaoyan says it's a decoy. Xiao absorbed the ghost shaman's star skill. Zhu can't believe that he has definitely absorbed the blessing technique. In the next moment, Xiao appears from behind the ghost shaman and says with a grin that he is not the only one who knows how to use bait. And with one blow of the dagger, he kills the ghost shaman. The screen shows for the first kill. White ghost shaman +1 to skill points. Basic skill unlocked. Dagger mastery. In front of another ghost, the shaman falls with a crash. He only gets scared, turns around in a panic and hurriedly runs away. Xiao lets out a sigh of relief, realizing how dangerous it was. Just then, Jiayan and Zhu hurriedly run over to him asking if he's okay. Zhu coming up to him says that he should explain himself. He exhales and looks at the fallen shaman, says that he will explain everything, but first you need to get to a safe place. The three of them are sitting around a campfire, having built a tent. Zhu is holding a glass of hot water trying to keep warm. She says there are two skills on the first star, and both are from the rarest healing branch. Xiao doesn't understand what kind of reaction she has. Shouldn't she be happy? Xiaoyan asks Xiao if he understands what it means to be an awakened healer. She explains that there is a classification between awakened ones. Those who can absorb a low-level medical skill will have a higher chance of absorbing other high-level medical skills. Damage-oriented battle type, awakened ones can't absorb healing techniques, regardless of potential, with a success rate of less than 1%. Xiao thinks that this is a bad thing and says that then he will soon become a tasty morsel. Zhu says that he does not understand what this means, and explains that according to the charter, teams are required to enter the field in fours, and everyone dreams of having a healer in the team. Adds that the presence of a healer directly affects the combat capability of the unit in long-term operations. Even one medical technique can be decisive. Zhao understands that she is worried about him. He has mediocre abilities and few star cells, but he suddenly turned out to be a medic. Since healers are so rare, it means that he will still be harnessed even though he is a weakling. Put a collar around his neck and drive him into the thick of it, for the sake of the squad, of course. But Zhu interrupts him and says that when he returns, of course, he will continue to study. But after graduation, he will immediately go to work as a doctor in a hospital. Zhao is upset and thinks that he expected to go to immortality, but turned out to go to the clinic for the morning shift. Xiaoyan irritably tells Shui that her overprotection must have a limit. Xiao must determine the path of his future. She replies that of course she understands that this is so, but also does not say anything. He only clutches his glass in frustration and Xiao doesn't know what to say, but he immediately says cheerfully, "Stop thinking about it. He's only 16. And Jiayan also says cheerfully that there's no need to rush right now, and pulls Zhu by the hand, telling her to go here, count their loot. She answers, count later. Jiayan tells us Xiao to rest and go to bed, because tomorrow is a new day, new challenges. Xiao smiles warmly and thinks, this is how it feels to be taken care of. The next morning, a white ghost appears, approaching their parking lot. Xiaoyan tells Xiao not to push ahead. He's smarter than this monster. At this moment, Xiao is standing in front of a huge white ghost, which is roaring, ready to attack. Xiaoyan tells him to hold on for another half a minute and he'll get a cup of hot tea. And so the white ghost starts attacking Xiao. Xiao retreats like lightning, but the ghost still manages to scratch him. On the next attack, Zhao activates the Jade Ray. At this time, Xiaoyan asks Zhu if she is still worried about letting Xiao absorb the pearl, because in the land of Beijiang, there is no better basic technique than the White Demon Pearl. She sadly replies that, however, Xiao only has 9 cells. She says that apparently she is ready to fill his already small number of cells with high-level skills alone, but they also need to think about profitability and expediency. Since he is growing up in Beijiang, he will mostly come into contact with white spirits from another dimension. They definitely need this pearl to compensate for damage in battles and expand the limit of star power. This skill is necessary for them whether Xiao wants it or not. Information about the Jade Ray appears on the screen. It deals heavy damage to the enemy, increasing damage, and can also deflect blows. The ghost steps on Xiao again, and Xiao retreats again and pulls out the bead. And remembers how he just woke up today and Jiayan gave him the white ghost pearl to absorb. The question appears on the screen to check the conditions for improvement. He confirms. Then, he learned that star power and basic techniques can be enhanced with self-cultivation and skill points, and star techniques can be enhanced with skill points and star pearls of the same category. The screen shows that the remaining skill points are 2. Xiao ponders and realizes that if the box has been filled, then this star skill can no longer be changed, leveled up, or removed. Other people's star techniques are fixed, but they can evolve indefinitely. His techniques are displayed. His star has a double skill, and both share a common path of development. To upgrade from bronze to silver, you need 10 bronze class pearls, and to upgrade from silver to gold, you need as many as 100 or 10 silver level pearls. The accumulation of quantity causes a jump in quality. When upgrading from bronze to gold, the effect of the skill will be completely incomparable. Hesitating, Xiao absorbs the bead. The screen shows White Demon Star Pearl absorbed, star power increased. After the Jade Ray level is bronze and the stamina skill is also bronze. Then that the upgrade conditions are met, and the quality of the Jade Ray and durability are upgraded to silver level. The white ghost roars and attacks Xiao again, but he does not hurry to retreat. Suddenly behind him you can see his star map. The girls are shocked and angrily yelling at him to get out of there quickly. But he doesn't listen to them. He punches the ghost and it flies back, bleeding profusely. Suddenly, Xiaoyan's sword flies at the ghost with lightning speed and immediately kills the white ghost Xue, shouting for Xiaoe. And he tells me to show you my star map immediately. Afterward, Xu says that when he absorbed that shaman's pearl, he vaguely felt that his techniques would be able to increase their rank. Adds that it turns out that his second slot uses the 1-star, 2 skills structure and thinks that you can't hide it from these two, so it's better to tell them right away. Guiltily, he says that he understands that the news is too cool and it should not have been shown so easily, but they are all the same here. Se suddenly apologizes to Xiao and says that there is one thing she shouldn't have kept from him. Xiao just looks back in surprise. She looks away and says that Zue-kun was originally left to him by his parents. In response, he asks if this is a space technique that can absorb monsters and says that there is no reason to apologize. They are their common children. Adds that with her talent, this technique will open up better than his, even if he got it, not the fact that he could master it. Xu is responsible. In a couple of days, he absorbed the white shaman and ghost pearls, and both times, 1 star, 2 skills. So his skills can also improve the quality. Thoughtfully, she adds that with his abilities, he will definitely be able to master this gold grade skill. Hearing this, Xiao notes that this girl looks so mature. How can she be tormented by doubts even more than he was before he got here? He says she's overestimating him, and she looks up in surprise. First, the level of star power limits the quality of skills that can be absorbed, and an awakened Stardust level cannot absorb a gold-ranked skill. Second, even if he can learn it, he won't use it in normal life. Right now, he is only at the lowest stage, and his star power is very lacking. When he used the Jade Ray, it took out half of his entire star power. If he absorbed Zue-kun, then when using this skill in battle, it would only cause him to completely drain his energy and be almost dead. He was stupid before, and if he got it, he would just waste it, and thinks that since the previous owner of the body was irresponsible, as an older sister, she had to grow up quickly to protect her brother, and says that Xue did the right thing. Xue is moved by his words, barely holding back her tears. Xu confidently says that they still dare to call him stupid. They don't even know the basics. Here he is, gifted, cunning, resourceful, and smart. Xiaoyan hugs Xiao and says that his brain is finally working, and asks how the limit for improving the quality of his skills is raised. He replies that most likely, the quality increases due to the absorption of the same type of pearls in his training. Until he feels the limit, he just constantly lacks strength. She says that apparently you need to develop both skills and strength at the same time. There is no point in just pumping skills. Adds that she was going to use the money to quickly increase the rank of his skill. She says not to flaunt his gift. His talent of this kind should not be lightly revealed. Otherwise, it will bring trouble. They may justify the quality of his skills, but once he enters the academy, he will have to join the awakened squad. But if he picks the wrong ones, the whole group will go down. Xiao asks if he should just join their team. They just freeze in surprise as they look at him. He thinks he said something wrong and asks, "What's the matter?" Xiaoyan comes to her senses and says, how could she not have thought of this herself? Once again, they are at the tent, around the campfire, and Xiaoyan tells Xiao exactly what she said. In the other world, reliable partners are priceless. Xiao has such a unique and powerful gift. He is destined to pave his way to greatness. During the 3 years of high school, you can't suppress his growth just for fear that his gift will become too visible. So she has a suggestion: let Xiao jump to the 3rd grade of high school and immediately join their squad. By shortening their training, they'll turn them into a full-time master in 4 years, and having a healer will increase the squad's safety on missions. With their ability to ensure his growth wouldn't be a problem, at least until graduation. They would be his strong and powerful support. As for his high-quality skills, they will say that this is a legacy from their parents. Zhu is supportive and says that it's better to upgrade his blessing to silver quality in advance before he shows the star map to the world. The white demonic sorcerer's pearl is 200,000 apiece. It can buy 10, a total of 2 liam, even with money, but it can raise his skill to silver rank. Xiao mentally exclaims that he will be a member of their team and says, if so, then the case is closed. Just when he was happily thinking that he was a member of their squad starting today, Xiaoyan suddenly says that it's not that simple. The fact is that there are no more available seats in their team. Xiao tiredly says that they've been talking for half an hour, and it turns out that they don't have any seats in the team. Xiaoyan starts to tell them that they had a guy on their team who chased after his sister. His name was Gao Junwei. He wasn't lacking in the power of an awakened melee fighter. That's just… She pauses, and Xiao looks at her expectantly. She says that his character is rotten, selfish to the core. When they were representing the first school in the competition, he almost put their friend under death in another dimension. Since both of their families were powerful, no one was willing to give in because of their own pride. And he and Zhuei were the victims of their squabble. Their conflict could not be resolved. They no longer went to tasks. So the team existed only on paper. If he gets even a little stronger, then in terms of squad building, as an awakened healer, he has every right to replace one of them. She admits that she was already planning to leave this team together with Shuo, but it would be very difficult for him and Shuo to find 2 other strong partners in the school. All the teams have been gathering for 2 years, entrance exams are coming up soon, and it is unlikely that anyone will want to break up the lineups and reassemble. Of course, she's talking about top-level people, not weaklings. With such locomotives as her and Zhui, they would surely be mobbed by middle-class and weaklings who wanted to leave at their expense. But if they do, they will have to endure the pressure from their families and the school, because the places in the exam rankings are at stake. In addition, Bastard Gao's methods of courting Shui are becoming increasingly vile. She's been covering for her for a whole year. She doesn't know how long it will last. They can't work with Gao anymore. Therefore, he wants to preserve the core of the squad as much as possible, leaving the second fighter. Ah Xiao should appear as a dark horse and kick Gao out of their team. And for the school administration, they will prepare the ground. He will immediately jump over the class and get into the 3rd graduation. After that, there is silence, and Xiao is lost in thought. Seeing this, Zhui gets up from her seat and tells Xiao not to think about it. After all, this child has just started to take up his mind. You should not force him so much. Interrupting her, Xiao resolutely says that he wants to try, not just for the sake of them graduating properly, but for the sake of him being able to survive in this world full of dangers. He will definitely do it. He will join their squad. After his words, Zhui looks at him hopefully. 7 days later, Zhao is standing in front of the fallen white ghost. Dagger proficiency level raised to silver rank and +1 to skill points, and happily thinks that he was finally able to take down the ghost in solo, without their help and the possession of the dagger leveled up. Xia Yan, who was watching from the side, says that she is doing quite well. If the star power is still left, then let her warm her sister. He grumbles that it's actually a healing skill, not a heating function, but still begins to heal. She happily enjoys. Su says it's a week before school starts. It's time for them to leave the snowfields. Then Xiaoyan will give him special training and still need to get the witch's pearl. He doesn't object, says he understands. All of a sudden, a blue flare goes up and there are shouts, and everyone is looking at it. Zhu says it's a signal flare, meaning someone is asking for help. They are in their zone, and gives the command to prepare for battle. Xiao asks her if they will go and check it out. She replies that this is a signal for the Zone Guardian squads. Such a signal, not a message that someone needs your help. And about the fact that it is dangerous there and you cannot approach in any case. It turns out that Gao and his squad are running away from a pack of white ghosts, holding something in their hands. Sui shouts that they are running in their direction, and gives the command to everyone to hide and not to act without orders. At this time, the guy shouts to the captain that he can't get away from them. The other guy shouts that if this continues, they will die before the guardians arrive. His star power is almost gone. The captain uses fire magic to burn the guy's shoulder, and he just looks shocked. The man with a grin tells him to be calm, and when he returns, he will report to the head of the clan that he died heroically while covering the retreat. Blood starts gushing out of his shoulder and he falls to his knees. Meanwhile, Zue and Xiao hide behind a rock from a pack of white ghosts. Xiu says it's a real white ghost night parade. Zhu says that it's the party they met earlier that caused such a commotion. Apparently, they really found the witch's cub. He nervously asks what will be done. She replies that they will wait, since the ghosts staged such a large-scale chase, then they are controlled by at least 2 witches, and Xiao just needs the witch's star pearl, so it's now or never to miss this chance. He gives the command to act and Xiaoyan suddenly appears from behind, swinging at the witch. But another white ghost manages to react and protect the witch. She is thrown back violently and crashes into a tree. Then she breaks the healing stone in her hand and begins to heal instantly. She gets pleasure. With a crazy smile, she calls the white ghosts and says that they will have a lot of fun. She says in amazement that she drank too much energy drinks. Sue replies that what she is doing now is a pointless waste of strength. It is a bad habit to revel in the battle. He says guiltily. Maybe he overdid it with the blessing. She's a melee fighter, so he put in more effort. She tiredly says that having a healer on the team made her overconfident. Adds that there is no hope for her. She will lure out the white ghost witch herself. She trusts him with her back, and he stands behind her with a fighting readiness. Xiao is attacked with a roar by the white ghost, but when the ghost hits him, it turns out to be a decoy. The next moment, he suddenly appears behind him and stabs him in the back with a dagger. The screen shows 10 bronze-ranked kills plus 1 skill point, and Xiao wonders if he's getting a reward even when his teammates are killing enemies. Xiaoyan, hopping on the spot, says, "Xiao, throw her some more blessings for warming up." He asks in shock, does she think he's a perpetual motion machine? His star power is already running out. They notice that the white ghost witch is trying to escape and Xiao shouts, "Stop them!" Xiaoyan grabs her sword and shouts, "Don't even dream of running away." But tripping over a rock, he falls awkwardly face down to the ground. Zhu angrily says that the distance to attack isn't enough at all. Xiao hastily ponders how to slow them down, and he remembers that they said that his blessing is different from the usual one. It not only heals, but also causes a strange feeling of euphoria in the target. He thinks, since this is the case, why shouldn't he use this feature and activates healing on Thestral? After the snow Thestral, euphoria takes hold and stops moving. During this time, Wei manages to use his technique to grab them. Xiaoyan breathes a sigh of relief and says that it was very close, and notes that Xiao is resourceful and thought of using his blessing as poison. Then he gets hit on the head by Zhuo and asks for forgiveness, saying that this will not happen again. Yu checks the guy's pulse and says, "This one is deader than dead." Xiaoyan handing the bead to Shou says that they were lucky. The star pearls fell from both witches, and she says if this guy is completely dead, then she starts. Sue explains that she is going to extract the pearl from the awakened one's brain, otherwise it will just go to the monsters for lunch. Xiao thinks in shock, because these girls are only 18 years old, and they talk about picking their brains as easily as if they were serving ice cream. Sue says that they are leaving, the witches are dead, so the ghost pack will definitely come back to take revenge. Xiao just agrees. On the way, they see all the members of that squad lying dead, each with their body parts torn off. Suddenly, Xiao feels sick at the sight. Sue says that they are only reaping the fruits of what they have sown. After all, the witch's cub had the clan mark on it. Wherever it ran, it would be tracked down. If they abandoned the cub, maybe they would still have a chance to survive. Xiaoyan sadly asks why he only has a couple of pearls with him. Do they have no supplies at all? Zhu answers when they were being chased by so many ghosts, surely all the supplies were used to recuperate while fleeing. Xiao asks Xiaoyan if he can take a look at the human star pearl. She gives back in response, asks if he is not afraid, because it was taken out of the corpse. Xiao notes to herself that it doesn't look any different from monster pearls, but the only difference is that it's probably impossible to get skills from human ones. Suddenly, a beep sounds and the screen shows that a scan is in progress. He doesn't speak faithfully. Didn't they say that it was absolutely impossible to obtain a skill from a human pearl? On the screen displayed, the star pearl contains techniques. The first is green radiance, quality bronze, and the second is durability, also bronze. Third blessing and fourth bait, both quality bronze, fifth searing flame and sixth explosive flame, both quality silver, seventh bell and eighth seal, both quality silver. He can fill a maximum of 2 more star slots with techniques, bell and seal. Work together as a mass healing technique. He tells them that he has sensed the healing techniques inside this pearl. Perhaps he will be able to absorb them. Sue asks again. He can extract techniques from human pearls. This ability is bad news for other awakened ones. Xiaoyan admiringly says that this is a world sensation and asks, he only felt only medical techniques. What about the others? He reflects that he can't tell them right now that he's seeing an internal star map, and replies that he's just sensitive to healing techniques. Adds that he got to this point thanks to the 2 of them. Judging by the contribution to the battle, this pearl should belong to Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan replies that she will give up these pleasantries if he really succeeds, and will consider that she has snatched a golden ticket to the future. Xiao breaks the pearl and shrouds everything in a lilac light. Xiaoyan finds out that this is a bell and a seal. Notes that the guy is not bad. Finally, they return home to the Sadovi residential complex. Xiu sees their family photo at the entrance, showing their parents, Sui and he. Zhu, looking at the photo addressing her parents, says that they are back. She says that on this trip to the snowy fields, Zhao became more reasonable. Zhao has a talent, and he has 2 techniques in 3-star slots. Xiao awkwardly says that he will go to his room. We need to disassemble the equipment. If he does not wash immediately, it will completely rot. She doesn't say anything, but again tells her parents that he is destined to become a brilliant awakened like them. But could she, as an older sister, truly protect him? Xiao goes into her room. Thinks, why is there such a shit and stinks? And how long would he have to shovel this mountain of garbage? 3 hours later, he cleans up his room and happily collapses on his bed. Suddenly, he remembers that he still needs to clean up the dark past of the previous owner. Then he turns on the computer, and a recording of Xiao's past comes over the speakers. He introduces himself as Zhang Xiaopi. The former Xiao announces with obvious complacency that he has finally become an awakened one on this day, assuring that he will rule all the other dimensions of Beijing. He says that parents often jokingly tell their children that they found them in the trash, but they actually picked him up in the trash. He mentions a foster mother named Zhang Hongye, emphasizing that this is a normal name and his own. The day she found it, her dog died. The dog's name was Xiao Pai, so that's how he inherited the dog's nickname, Xiao thinks. What a sloppy name story. A sudden knock on the door snaps Xiao out of his thoughts, startling him. And Shui appears in the doorway, calling Xiao go eat. When she sees how clean the room is, she is surprised and asks if he has cleaned up. Xiao, smelling the smell of dinner, happily notes how delicious the food smells. In that world, he ate almost 1 doshirak. Zhu, serving rice, says that Xiaoyan will pick him up tomorrow. Adds that the 5-day special training will just end for the final stage of school military training. He asks why not just practice a little longer, since individual classes are more effective than group classes. She denies it and says that he is obliged to take part in training camps, then show off at demonstration performances. Only in this way would he be able to get special permission to join their squad. And he says, eat for him. Xiaoyan will tell him the rest, and also delete that nonsense on his blog. He remembers that shamefully replies that he is already deleting it. He adds more meat for him to eat, and he happily and hurriedly finishes it all. After they finish eating, Zhao says that he will wash the dishes, let her sit and rest. Xiao is humming to herself as she washes the dishes in a good mood. How she stumbles across a family photo again and notes that Sui was such a cute girl as a child. By the way, the parents of the last owner of the body disappeared a few years ago, entering the other world. Does not know if he will ever have a chance to meet them. The next day, Xiaoyan hugs Xiao Xiaya and informs her that she is taking him away. Before leaving, Xiao asks if she can stop constantly throwing herself on his neck. She demands to call her sister. He says that she is only a couple of years older. An unidentified man watches from the window as they leave together. They arrive at Xiaoyan's house, a high-end residential complex called Chinatown. A gloved man greets them and greets Xiaoyan. She introduces him as Lei Jin, who will be his coach for the next 5 days. In 5 days, when the special training is over, he will go to school. He must join the main class of the first year as quickly as possible and ensure that he is chosen as a representative to participate in the battle. It doesn't matter if he takes first place or not. The main thing is to show his value. Let him make sure that the school management notices him. He just nods. Taking his phone, she says, while there is special training, the phone is confiscated. She would bring him food 3 times a day, and she went upstairs to rest. After a while, she comes out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel, and noticing the phone playfully smiling something up in mind. Zhu trains by hitting the bag. When she's finished picking up her phone, she thinks that Zhao must be practicing right now too, and gets a notification that his favorite contact has posted a new entry. The post said that he was so happy, went home with her. Sister Xiaoyan has such beautiful legs in photos where you can see women's legs. Zui purses her lips in anger and glares at the phone darkly. Gao Junwei has 25 slots. The star card is Tang Dao. 2 bronze, 3 silver, and 1 gold are inserted. His strength is at the nebula stage. Like Sui and Xiaoyan, he is in the 3rd grade, and Xiao is in the 1st grade. If he wants to challenge him, he must first become the 1st class champion. Xiao activates the Fullness of Star Power State effect. Increases the host's concentration speed and power recovery, and his Stardust stage rises from the 3rd level to the 4th. He rejoices at having leveled up, 1 step closer to taking down Gao Junwei. He wanted to eat, but when he opened the container, he was disappointed to see a special nutritious dish from Xiaoyan. Nevertheless, he eats through tears, thinking that it is possible to eat, but it is very far from delicious. He even missed doshirak. He risks so much to join the team. The coach looks at him and thinks, he gets up at 4 in the morning and trains until 9 in the evening. Not a drop of whims or pampering. Every day exceeds the norm. A 16-year-old kid locked up for a hell of a training session. Anyone else would have gone crazy by now. It's the first time he sees a child with such willpower and thinks how much he wants a barbecue. Moving to the Shi family mansion at this time, Xiaoyan's father aggressively asks on the phone if he is sure that he did not confuse anything, who she brought home, and why he did not tell her earlier. Xiaoyan's mother asks him why he was so worried, and he replies that her daughter brought a guy home. She decides that her daughter has fallen in love, says that this is good, and asks how his character is and whether he is cute. He exhales and says that this is Zhang Xiaopi, a boy from the Han family. She immediately objects and declares that she is absolutely against this marriage. He irritably replies that he in fact does not agree either. He shows her Xiao's post and tells her that she brought him here 4 days ago, and he posts every day about how much he likes Yan Yan. She's in a panic, says to run and check, another couple of days and they'll make them grandchildren. Meanwhile, the training session continues in the basement. The trainer says, "Speed up. How is he going to knock back enemies with such sluggish punches?" Xiao gathers all her strength and strikes at his arms. From the blow, the coach takes a step back and praises, says, "Great job." Xiao happily thinks that he finally broke through his defense without using star power. The coach grabs him, says that he is not bad, that's what he needs. He will keep this drive and he will succeed in anything. My aunt appears, apologizes for interrupting, and the coach is surprised to notice that dinner is being served unusually early today. Then, Xiaoyan's father appears in the doorway, and Xiao wonders who that person is. 10 minutes ago, when Xiaoyan's father arrived, her aunt opened the door and looked surprised. He immediately asks where Yan Yan is, and she says that 3 days ago she left with Miss Han, and they said that they were going to the snowfields again. He says that it's good when children behave sensibly. The Han family girl is a single-minded child. He asks if anything has happened in the house in the last few days. She replies that a boy came to live in the house 4 days ago, but Xiaoyan immediately sent him to the basement and he hasn't come out since. Horrified, he thinks that his daughter locked up someone else's kid, although the notoriety of Xiao's tricks is known to everyone, but he is still the son of his best friend. Being against their marriage is one thing, but why torture a man? The aunt hastily explains that Xiaoyan has hired a personal trainer for the boy, and they train together in the comfort of the room. And when she brings him food, she sees him covered in bruises and sweat. He looks shocked and asks, "Is Zhang Xiaopi still training?" She suggests that he go down and see for himself, just in time for dinner, before it gets dark. Let the guy come out at least to look at the sun. He replies that since he has already come, he will go down and take a look, and thinks to himself that it is necessary to change the informant, because he did not say anything about the fact that she also brought the coach. He looks around to see that Xiao is actually training. Xia recognizes him as Uncle Xia from the memory of the previous owner. He says it's been almost 10 years since we met, and he still remembers his uncle. He adds that he should get up and rest for a while. He has paid too little attention to him over the years. This is his omission. Xiao is only embarrassed. He thinks that with the character of the previous owner of the body, the fact that they didn't turn their backs on Zui Yi with him is already the height of nobility. The coach, stretching, notices that the sunset is beautiful, but without barbecue, it is incomplete, and tells Aunt Zhou that he's gone to fry kebabs. Seeing the kebabs, Xiao, like a zombie, drooling, mumbles about kebabs again and again, and he happily eats kebabs with his cheeks full. Xiaoyan's father says that he is very happy to see how much he has changed, and for sure his parents would also be happy if they knew about it. Xiao thinks that the previous owner's parents have been missing for so long that there aren't many memories left in his memory. And turning to Uncle Xia, he asks if there is a chance for people who disappeared in the other world to return. He replies that the very appearance of the gate of other dimensions is a mystery. There is too much unknown that they have yet to explore, and the Corps of Pioneers, in which his parents served, is just doing research on this unknown, as more and more gates to other dimensions are opening on this planet. To study these spaces, a Corps of Pioneers was created, formed from the military and naturalized specialists attracted from outside. As soon as a new gate to another dimension appears, they immediately enter inside to assess the level of danger. They explore what resources there are, and whether local materials and creatures will benefit humanity. They find out how ferocious the creatures that live there are, and whether the environmental conditions are beyond the limits of human endurance. They determine whether humanity is capable of mastering it, or whether complete destruction is necessary. As an example, he cites snowfields, where thanks to the sacrifices and efforts of pioneers, the authorities were able to master and open access to another dimension. The Pioneer Corps is the most dangerous, but also the greatest team, and Xiao's parents were among them. With such parents as an example, this child will definitely try even harder in the future. Xiao asks him where the dimension where his parents got to is, and the question makes Uncle Xia wince. He replies that he is not allowed to go there now, but he can tell him the name. Dragon's Den. He adds that he will become stronger and one day he will be able to go there himself and see everything with his own eyes. It will be a duty to them. Xiu squeezes the skewer to himself and repeats the name, trying to remember it. Uncle Xia changes the subject, asks Xiao if he will go to school in a couple of days. and he replies that Xiaoyan said that she will take him the day after tomorrow. He says that Xiaoyan is too strict with him. There should also be a measure in training. He replies that Xiaoyan is very kind to him, and that he has requested the intensity of training himself. Uncle notes that he has only to say a word against Yan Yan, as he immediately rushed to protect her, and awkwardly says that the children have grown up, and he does not want to interfere in their teenage affairs. But studying should come first. Love can wait for now. And Xiao just looks at him blankly, and she asks what he's talking about, what kind of love affairs. He asks irritably, isn't he the Zhang Xiaopipi who posts confessions every day? Xiao confesses that Zhang Xiaopipi is really him, but his phone was confiscated by Xiaoyan on the first day of training. It was the 5th day of training. Xiao sat in concentration and activated the fullness of star power, and reflects that the star power was stuck at the 4th level and did not grow anymore. It is better to save your skill points for such moments. The coach interrupts him, says that his training plan has been exceeded. It's time for him to go to the next client. Xiao says goodbye to him. The next moment, Zhu suddenly appears in front of him. He asks them that they have already returned. She confirms. Taking out a bag of pearls, she gives it to him, and says that these are the pearls of the Witch of White Ghosts. Xiao counts them, and is surprised to find that there are 4 of them, and thinks that she has just killed all the white ghost witches in the entire snowfield. Zhu asks if it's not enough for him. If it's not enough, she will still come up with something. Xiao understands that she has purposely returned to the snowy fields for the sake of these pearls, and he, moved by her action, rushes to hug her and thank her. She also hugs him back and says with a smile that he never needs to say thank you to her. But then she adds that he needs to explain about those blog posts first, and he looks at her in disbelief. Xiao looks at the posts with their photos, trembling with anger. And Vipapaya says that it wasn't him who posted it, because she took his phone. It's not him in the photo at all. It's Photoshop. Poking at Xiaoyan says that she is full of guile. She wants to quarrel with them. She probably put timers on the post before leaving for the fields. Sue lets out a sigh of relief and says that's what she thought. And he says to consume the pearls. Check if he can raise the skill to silver? He agrees without any objections. The screen shows that the blessing is a 4th level bronze, and the bait is also… Xiao recalls how he found 2 witch pearls on the body of the deceased healer, which he did not have time to absorb. Together with those pearls obtained from the 2 witches killed, his blessing had already reached the 4th level of the bronze rank. After breaking the pearl and shrouding everything around with blue light and noting that the situation is exceptional, uses 2 more skill points. A message appears on the screen that the promotion conditions are met. Blessing and bait are raised to silver rank. Xiaoyan eagerly asks how did it turn out, and Xiao says with a smirk that he is blessing her. Afterward, she feels like she's on a beach, and she says it's like a warm sea breeze is caressing her skin. With pleasure, he adds that it washes away all fatigue. Here it is, a blessing of the silver rank. Xu lets out an exasperated sigh at all this, while Xiao just laughs awkwardly. Here they are in front of Bincheng High School. Ye says that there are a lot of ordinary students studying here, and tells them to behave themselves and not get into fights. Xieyan notes with a smile that Yu is much more talkative now that Xiao has gotten smarter. And Mahaya says to go to register already, they will be waiting for him in the 3rd class. He just waves after him. Walking along the road, Xiao thinks that after coming to this world, he first had to survive in the icy wasteland. And now he's going back to school to jump to the senior class. He hasn't studied for so many years. And then immediately the hell of a challenge mode. And he thinks sadly, why hasn't he been reborn in the body of a university student? At the front desk, a man says, Zhang Xiaopi, 9-star slots. He heard that he skipped registration and military training since he was practicing in the snowy fields. Xiao confirms. He thinks to himself that most likely he just wanted to cut off the fees. It's not worth lying to the current children. Then he asks Xiao to show him his star map, and Xiao happily agrees. After seeing his star map, he stuns and lists 3 star techniques. And he asks how this is possible. Since the blessing and green radiance of the bronze rank technique, how did he get 3 silver ranks? Xiao, making a mournful face, replies that he left these pearls from his parents. He says to himself that just like Su told him, he should blame everything on his parents. He adds that they went missing during a mission 3 years ago. The man asks who took him to practice in the snowy fields, and Xiao says his sister is Han Jiangshui. He says the Han family is from the Pioneer Corps, so he took his mother's last name. And he notes to himself that it's a pity that there are only 9 slots. But for someone with such a low potential to be able to absorb 3 silver-ranked techniques, it doesn't matter if he can develop in the future, but for the school period, he is very strong and tells Xiao to follow him. The girls were sitting in the stadium. One of them says, "What a handsome guy came." Elena, first year, 2nd grade, looking around, asks where he is. Her second classmate, Liu Kei, replies that he is talking to the coach. She adds, "Is this the same God who took time off from their 2nd class to practice?" Suddenly, Coach Lei, turning to Xiao, says that they have seen each other again and asks, "He is a 2nd grade student?" Xiao is happy and asks what he is doing here. The man asks instructor Lei if they know each other. Lei replies that he's been training him for the past few days and didn't expect this coincidence. Adds that head teacher Gao said that one of the instructors is not present, so he is here to replace. Then he clears his throat and gravely calls him a disciple, says, "Get in line." A guy reaches out to Xiao Xiao and introduces himself as Liu Bufan. He is their second-class contact. If he has any questions, then he can contact him. Xiu says hello and gives his first and last name. He asks what the number of star slots is, and what type. Xiao answers, "The number of slots is equal to the last digit of the number of his slots." Liu elaborates on the last digit, which makes 9, but Xiao only shyly confirms. A strange guy grinning says that he thought Xiao was some cool pepper, but it turned out to be garbage with 9 slots. Everyone looks at them and whispers that they are about to fight. But one guy intervenes, saying that since they were assigned to the same class, it means that the school recognized Xiao's abilities, so don't be so aggressive. Badass says that everyone was waiting for him to arrive, wanting to see who was holding on to the last place in the second class, with a total of 9 star slots in total. She replies with a smile that he really doesn't have many slots, but he is an awakened healer, so he was probably the one who was accepted into the second class. Everyone stops looking at him in a daze after hearing what he said. Adds, if this student has any objections, they can go and check the class allocation standards. He doesn't know what to say, but he thinks awkwardly why Xiao didn't tell him right away that he was a healer, making him look like a complete idiot. Luca suddenly cries out while asking again, and immediately apologizes, saying that she overreacted. Then he happily tells Elena that he is the only healer in the entire first grade stream, out of all 8. The instructor whistles and says, "That's all for today. Everyone disperse." Xiaoye thinks about how Bincheng High School has special classes for awakened people, in addition to classes for ordinary people. There are 8 classes in each stream, and students are assigned to them based on the school's assessment of their potential. He arrived too late for registration. So many teams are already fully equipped. With 3 days left until the end of the military training camp, if he wanted to represent the class in the competition, he would have to reveal his status. The next day at 4 in the morning, those 2 girls are running around the stadium. Luca tells Nana to wait for her, and asks why they have to get up so early and torment themselves. She replies that if they don't try, they will be overtaken by others. Luca replies that there is no one left on this treadmill but them. No one will try harder than them. And starts crying, saying, why did she become an awakened one? She's just a lazy fish who wanted to draw manga. But when he sees Xiao, he asks if anyone really trains harder than them. She calls out to him, calling him white-haired, approaching, greets, and introduces herself, saying that they study in the same class. Xiao also says hello and introduces herself, but she immediately clings to his arm. She asks if he has found a team. If not, if he wants to join them. He says that they have both tanks and damagers in the team. The composition is just a bomb, they will be able to protect it. But then Elena comes, greets him and introduces herself, and tells him not to pay attention to her. She's always making a fuss out of nothing. Then another introduces 2 guys, Zhu Wen's older brother and Zhu Wu's younger brother. Xiao makes a mental note, the standard squad size is 4 people. And thanks for the invitation, but says that apparently their team is already assembled. Luca says, if the main squad is full, she can be a backup. She is still in the team as just a keychain. She adds that she and Nana are best friends, so she is just for the company, the brothers, and Nana are one of the best among the newcomers. Many dream of getting into their team. Sio remembers watching them during the day, and the twins' fighting skills are among the best in 2nd grade. If he succeeds in joining a strong team, then it will be just wonderful. Big brother asks if he could tell them exactly what kind of healing technique he absorbed. But the younger pushing him says that it sounds insincere. If you want to call in the team, you need to start with yourself. He says that he and his brother have star cards in the shape of a fist. 20 slots, 2 techniques. Green Glow and Endurance, both of the bronze rank. Elena says that she has a star card like Two-Handed Staff. 21 slots, 4 techniques. Green Glow, Fortitude, Burning Flame, and Explosive Flame, all of bronze rank. Xiao thinks that monsters like Xia Yan and Shui are born once every 100 years, but 20 and 21 slots are already above average. And he starts telling me that he has 9 slots and 3 techniques. Blessing, Green Glow, and Bell, all of silver rank. Big brother notes that 2 healing techniques are cool, but then, catching herself, she asks him again what quality he said these techniques were, and Xiao replies that they are silver. Everyone shouts out in shock, "Silver?" Xiao even covers her ears. Calling him the God Pai, they ask him to take them with them and attack him. Xiao awkwardly says, "Just call him Xiao Pai." He thought it would be difficult to find a team, but everything was decided so easily. In the middle of the field, 2 guys are fighting, one of them shouting, "Powerful blow strikes." But he dodges and grinning, strike a strong blow at the enemy. Coach whistles and shouts at Gao to stop. reminding him how many times he's been told to hold back. This is their classmate, not a monster from another dimension, and Gao Cui replies that he doesn't beat him to death. At this point, one of the guys points a finger and tells Gao to take a look at the first class. Gao sees the three of them and asks where the blonde guy came from and why he is so close to Nana. They tell him that this is the same guy from the second class who was on vacation all the time, just registered yesterday. Since he's already hitting on his girlfriend, it means that he doesn't respect Gao at all, and he glares at them as he warms up. Then he announces that the training session is over, everyone is behind him, and they will give this kid an introductory lesson. When tomorrow comes, Nana suggests that we go to the cafeteria to eat, and she says that she was worried yesterday, and they didn't exchange numbers. She offers to add friends, she will add them to the class group and to the general chat. Xiao agreeing tells her to add, which makes her happy. Gao and his friend on the side watch all this. The guy says that they will now take up the handles. He angrily replies that let them try. He adds that they are going to the dining room. They will catch him when he is alone. In the dining room, Auntie tells Xiao that his card is not activated. From the back, Lu Kei and Nana immediately offer their cards after hearing this. Lu Kei says that this is probably a system bug. It just wasn't added to the database. They go with him to the training section. Xiao replies with a smile that he will go a little later. Cheyenne notices. Xiao happily says, Zhuwei says. Looks there Xiao has made friends, and even two pretty girls. Zhu turns her head in Xiao's direction and sees Lu Kei trying to steal the food from Xiao's plate. But he just shyly turns away, and Nana also hurries towards them. Xie asks if he has decided to have an affair, but she tells her not to pay attention. She wonders why she's suddenly so calm about him. Zhu thinks to himself that Xiao used to be an unbearable rebel, but after that slap in the face, it's like he's been replaced, and new acquaintances will only benefit him. Xiaoyan says plaintively that she feels like she's turning into a real mommy. As he climbs the stairs, Xiao merrily thinks that he should tell the other two that he found the team, but suddenly the guys appear in front of him and turning to him says, "Take a walk with them." As one of them grabs his arm, Xiao thinks to himself that school bullying is rampant. But it didn't affect him in his previous life, because he was so inconspicuous that even bullies were too lazy to deal with him. Who would have thought that in this world, he would not only gain family and friends, but even make up for such an experience? They bring him to Gao, who says he sees Xiao getting close to Elena, and asks that he didn't know Gao had his eye on her. From the outside, someone says that Xiao also joined Elena's team. Xiao asks who he is. He picks up his sword and says that he is the leader of the first class of the first year of training, Gao Junchen. Since Xiao dared to covet the girl he was looking for, then he would teach him a lesson himself. And she rushes at him with a sword, and Xiao thinks that he has such a familiar name. He uses his sword to strike, but Xiao quickly manages to dodge. Gao Junchen, Gao Junwei. It's hard to believe that with such names, they are not related. Seeing his sword ignite, Xiao anxiously thinks that he is going to strike to the death. Cao says his family has power and money, even if he cripples Xiao. He replies that this is a violation of school rules. Gao chuckles and says that this is just a friendly sparring match, and even if something happens, Brother Gao will cover for him. Two guys start to step on him, and Xiao warns them that he is an awakened healer. The other two burst out laughing, and one of them asks if the others heard what he said. And he adds that it doesn't matter how awakened he is. With his 9 slots, he's just garbage. After ordering others to hold him down, he wants to test how well the healers hold the blow. As soon as one of them touches Xiao, he immediately grabs him by the arm and throws him over himself. He gets angry and asks Xiao what else dares to fight back, but Xiao immediately hits him right in the chest. It bounces back and hits the wall, causing everyone around it to freeze in shock. But Gao shouting asks why they are frozen and orders to take Xiao. When one of them runs up to him, he kicks him using a super whip kick. He meets the second one with an uppercut to the jaw, like a shoryuken. Looking at this, Gao says that he is being impudent to the edge, but Xiao immediately directs a blessing at him. Just as he's feeling euphoric, Xiao appears behind him in a flash. By punching him in the face, says Gao will now know how to poison classmates and how to create mayhem. He hardly says to stop. Because he violates the school rules, he will tell his brother everything. Xiao teasingly replies that this is just a friendly sparring session, since he dared to bully someone. Let him be ready to get hit back. That guy, trembling and barely able to keep on his knees, says that his ribs are broken. Hearing this, Xiao says that it sounds like it's a little sick, but it's okay. He adds that after all he said he is an awakened healer, he is guaranteed to cure such a small thing completely. At this time, Ye runs and is informed that they went to the back room, and she prays that nothing will happen. She should be in time. When she gets there, she kicks down the door and shouts at everyone standing there that it's her fault that she didn't keep track of Xiaopai. But in the next instant, she suddenly freezes in place in surprise. The guy running up to Shui asks, "Nothing terrible happened. They did it in time." But when he looks inside, he sees 3 guys lying on top of each other, beaten up. and Xiao brushing the dust off his hands. Sue rushes to him, asking if he is hurt. Xiao replies that he is fine, and asks how she got here. She replies that the contact of their class said that he saw Xiao being dragged away by guys from another class. He suddenly stopped responding to messages, and she was just about to go look for him when she bumped into him and points out the guy. She says with relief, "Thank God that he is safe. Let him go back to the training camp, and here she will sort it out herself." And Xiao understands that she is automatically trying to get him out of it. This is how many problems the previous owner of the body caused. And he says that there is nothing to deal with. They are in perfect order. She is silent in disbelief. He adds that if he does not believe, let him ask them. One of them smiles and says that they are fine. They were just sparring with Brother Pai. Xiao looks at him with a sly smile, and he shudders in his thoughts. Xiao first beats, then heals, and then beats again. Who can stand this? They say not to mess with healers for nothing. At home, Gao tells his brother plaintively that this guy is crazy, and his blessing acts like some kind of poison. He adds that he also broke the sword that his brother gave him, and he is obliged to avenge it. Brother Gao says that he has heard. Let him train harder, take good places in the performances, and don't upset his mother. And he adds that it's just a wooden sword. He will then give a new one. The crying says that he is so kind to him. Brother smiling says that he is his most beloved younger brother. And he finally says that he then ran to the training camp, and he just nods. Left alone, Brother Gao says thoughtfully. This is the name of useless Brother Shui'er. At the cafe that night, Xiao sits with his squad, and Nana apologizes to Xiao for dragging him into this. Luki asks if it's Nana's fault that she's so pretty, and offers to tell the teacher everything. Xiao replies that he has already settled everything. He has arranged such a sweet life for them there that they will most likely run away to tell lies. The younger brother says that they should do this. They will go together in the future. Owie will help him beat them up. The elder agrees, and adds that if Liu Bufan hadn't accidentally stumbled across it, he wouldn't even have known that he was in trouble. Liu Ke praises Bufan for thinking to call for help, and not just anyone, but Senior Han herself. And she says that she is the team leader of the school Kings of the third year, a real legend, but also a coincidence. She's on the same team as this Gao's brother. Xiaoxi asks about Han Jiangshui, so she's his sister. Liu Ke opens her mouth in surprise, and he starts introducing her, calling her the prima ballerina of Bincheng High School, the commander of an elite squad, the lone ice goddess. Xie shakes her head, says how many titles does she have and what kind of ice goddess is this? Suddenly remembering, he says that he has something to tell them. Zhu's team has an irreconcilable conflict, which has put everyone's lives at risk, so after he woke up, she trained him to join her team. Junior is surprised to say that judging by his strength, it is impossible to join the school's elite team. Xiao admits that it's really difficult, but not impossible, and she hopes that he can shine at military training camp performances, then with the help of another team member, jump over the classroom. He made inquiries. There was only one healer in the third grade for 6 groups, 2 healers in the second grade for 6 groups, and only he was in their stream. Nana says the fact that he has a rare healer class and 3 silver-ranked skills is enough for the teachers to look at him in a new way, but its potential is limited. In the third grade, you need to often go on missions to other dimensions. You need to think about yourself. Xiao calmly replies that she is his family and he believes in her. He just wanted to say that if the plan works, he will have to leave this team and asks for forgiveness. The elder says, if he thinks this path is right, then let him go. Junior also joins, says, why apologize? One day in the team. All my life brothers, they will support his choice. Xiao asks if they blame him for his decision. Nana replies that there is no way they will block his path. What she said was just worried for him. The senior says that he will help the team win a prize, and they will help break through to the third grade. After all, they are leaving at his expense. Junior agrees. Otherwise, they would be with one Liu Ke who knows what place they would take. Liu Ke tearfully says that they had such a hard time finding such a strong healer. Nana jokingly asks Liu Ke. She regrets that Xiao leaves because she won't be able to sit out in the reserve. She plays along with the answer that she shouldn't have revealed the truth, so they quarrel for 30 seconds. Xiao thanks them and tells Liu Ke that whatever place they take, his share of the award is hers. She immediately shakes her head, replies that this will not work, his means his. Xiao, raising her can, says that their friendship is more important than any reward. To the bottom, and he coughs. The younger one says that they don't drink vodka, so he made a drama with a heroic look. 3 days later, the event began. People sitting in the stands note that there are so many cute boys in this stream of newcomers. Suru, a third-grade student, takes off the field and says that this stream of newbies don't look so. So, they're just kids. Don't expect much. Suddenly, something interesting happens on the field. The guy is lying on the ground in despair. Gao Junchen was standing in front of him with a wooden sword and thunderstorm magic. The other guy hurriedly announces that they are giving up, and Gao leaves with a bored face. A loudspeaker announces that the first class has won, and the next group should prepare. Suru looks at Gao and takes it back, noting that he has a charge of silver rank. In the stream chat, viewers are surprised and write that these kids are damn rich. Gao is looking around for someone, and when he finds Xiao, he shouts to him that he will give him a sweet life in the ring. Hearing this, Gao Junwei tells Shui that there seems to be a disagreement between their brothers, and the next fight is just between them. If necessary, he will stop Xiao Chen. Children like to play pranks. Zhu glares at him gloomily, only telling him to shut up and keep quiet. Gao playfully says that she listens to Commander Han because he is just worried about her brother. Since she doesn't like him, he will shut up. Jiayan suddenly arrives and tells Gao to move over and asks Sui where is Xiao. Adds that as soon as Xiao's match ends and their group finals begin, Sui confirms, and Gao viciously thinks that she is always getting in the way. When Su Rao hears about Xiao Pai, he thinks, isn't that handsome guy from the second grade team? In the first fight, Xiao easily takes a free win at the expense of the twins' older brother. In the second battle, thanks to Nana with fire magic, a second freebie victory. And the third fight was dragged by two brothers. Xiao again gets a free victory. Suru thinks that in the past matches, this handsome guy did nothing but go out at the expense of others, and the twins, on the contrary, showed their power. Junior says how they will finish this match, wait for the third grade final, and be able to challenge the King's team. Liuka asks if the trick of pretending will work. Xiao has already beaten Junior Gao, so his brother probably knows that Xiao is not so simple. Nana replies that Senior Xiao is just a novice. They only know that Xiao has the blessing skill, but they don't know about his rank or any other techniques. So they will play on the unexpected and catch them off guard. Senior says that as Junior Gao just showed, he's not a weakling at all, it's just that he probably underestimated Xiao, so he caught him. Xiao agrees and says that the assassin girl will not be easy given her agility. Nana as a mage will be in great danger, but it is also their main artillery. If the explosive flame hits the target, it will knock out the enemy on the spot. Nana notices that, however, this technique charges for a long time, and it is easy to dodge it. In the radius of the explosion, it can also hit them. Xiu says that if they are forced to freeze in place, it will be easier to hit them. At the beginning of the battle, Nana will charge explosive flame, and as soon as they rush to attack, he will first take down the one who will be in front. Announced to the representatives of the second class to prepare for the exit. Next up is first year, first class versus first year, second class. The man from above, watching, asks if this boy is the only healer among the newcomers of their stream, and what is his star map. Another man replies that it is in the form of a bucket. You can consider it a kind of staff. He entered already having medical skills. He asks what his last name is. He says his last name is Jiang. He is his mother's last name. He is the younger brother of Han Jiangshui. He says that the apple doesn't fall far from the apple tree. The Han family has raised an excellent fighter. The potential is definitely excellent. The second person replies that he is the exact opposite of Han Jiangshui, who has a phenomenal 30-star slots. And Jiang Xiaopi is also unique. He only has 9 slots. The only case for the whole school. That man is stunning. And angrily asks, is he kidding him? Is he ready for anything? Only he did not take his student away. He replies that he himself is not sure whether this guy has a talent or not, and offers to see for himself. Inside the venue, Gao and Xiao's teams go out and prepare for battle. Xiao calls out to Nana and tells her to fire 2 bursts of explosive flame at her. She asks if 2 volleys is too much. She is afraid that she might injure them. He replies that this is a competition, not a training session. When they reach it, they will definitely not hold back in their attacks. 2 volleys will be enough for the referee to count the opponent's elimination. Calming her down, he says that school healers are not sitting here for furniture, and she gathers her courage and agrees. Xiu says that Gao will be the first to rush forward. As soon as one is disabled, it will become easier to fight. Nana asks what makes him think Gao will be the first to attack. Xiu, slightly approaching, confidently answers, because he won't hold back. Gao, clutching his sword and shaking with anger, yells out to Xiao. As soon as the referee starts, Gao activates his star card. Tang Sword, 24 slots. Around people are surprised that a melee fighter shows a star map at the very beginning. One says that mages lose power without a map. If they activate at the beginning, it means that they are extremely serious. Gao activates the charge technique and rushes towards the opponents with a sword. But Nana also activates her 2-handed staff technique. The brothers stand at the front patiently waiting for Gao to approach. Xiao activates her blessing and embraces Gao. Caught Gao feeling a familiar feeling, irritably thinks again his healing technique. And they give the command to Nana to act. She launches 2 explosive volleys. But Gao, still released, manages to defend himself with a charge. While Nana was excitedly wondering if she had hit Gao, a girl from the opposing team suddenly appears behind her with lightning speed. In Nana's flashback, A scene where she is small and trembling and barely holds a bucket of water. The man tells her to hold on and not cry. He says that she is a mage. In the future, her place is in the rear of the group. She is obliged not only to support her allies, but also to protect herself. Otherwise, she will become a burden to the team, a vulnerable point. Her helplessness will destroy her comrades. When the opponent gets close, she hits it with her staff. The girl falls right under Xiao's blessing and feels strange. Xiao, praising Nana, says while she floated, 2 volleys of slicer explosive flame, and Nana, as she is told, directs explosive flames at the girl, who only manages to cover herself with her hand. Suddenly, they announce that Wu Jinying from the first class has lost her combat capability. She drops out. In the stands, people are saying that you can't fight with a staff in close combat, and notice that this was done by that gray-haired guy. He's a healer. The first one asks, did he knock out the enemies by cutting them twice? The second one says, the mage Bliznik and the poison heal. These two are geniuses of tactics. Suru wonders to himself that there is a rare healer in the 2nd grade, but notices that the effect of the skill is somehow wrong. The brothers are surprised that Nana can do this and say that they can't let her take all the glory. And the youngest running suddenly gives directly on the Teleusti to one of the opponents. He flies back. Gao, angry, says, if he's so cool, then let him fight without his nasty tricks. In the next instant, Xiao suddenly appears in front of him and says that he agrees to go without star techniques. But apparently Gao had forgotten how he would go back to the back room and beat him up with his bare hands, and begins a series of punches to the face, body, and leg. Gao is absolutely unable to do anything. In the rostrum, Senior Gao calls the judge and demands that she immediately stop. She replies that he has not completely lost his combat capability and has not given up. Xiao holds Gao's clothes and asks if he gives up, but Gao replies that he will find people who will finish him off. His brother Xiao won't forgive him, he calmly asks. Little Master Gao only knows how to throw threats. Well, if he doesn't give up, Wu Xiao doesn't have any choice but to cover his fist with magic and swing at him. After the judge declares that Gao Junshin from the first class has lost his combat capability, he is eliminated. Also, another member of his team says that he gives up. The judge declares that Zhu Gan from the first class has given up. He is eliminated. Then the last member of the team saying that he is the only one left, how to fight him 4-on-1 and gives up. The judge declares that the black bear from the first class has given up, is eliminated. The final among the first classes ended with the victory of the 2nd class, after which everyone runs to congratulate. Liu Kei, running up to Nana, admiringly says that Nana was incredible. Approaching the brothers too, they say that the two of them are just animals. The younger one modestly says that the tactics were so-so, just lucky. The man is impressed to say that the tactics of this team were taken by surprise, and personal scores were used skillfully. Director Yan says that the boy has a silver rank blessing, and the effect is clearly mutated. The man says that he has already stopped beating around the bush, adds that the phenomenon of mutation of star technology is very rare, and he himself sees this for the first time. While recalling that his parents are Han Cheng and Jiang Hong, it's not surprising that Director Yan says that Xiao has a low potential, and how could he even absorb this skill? Senior Gao runs towards Xiao and shouts angrily. He didn't see that his brother lost his fighting ability. How dare he hit so hard? Xiu says with a smile that Gao is not a judge, but he is also not a judge. He is a fortune teller. And laughing at him, he asks if he wants to tell his fortune. He wanted to say that but without coming up with anything, he asks what he is in general. Gao Seething wanted to activate the magic. The judge, stopping him, asks to return to the location of his class. And when he leaves, he says that the match challenges will take place in the afternoon and he will be waiting for him. After that, Xiao ate hurriedly, stuffing his cheeks. Suddenly, a guy comes up to him and says that he is Li Weiyi, his sister's teammate. Xiao responds by saying that he is the same guy who got into trouble with Gao Junwei, who awkwardly says that's how his sisters introduced Xiao to him. And he notices that he is handsome. Did his sisters really have the guts to send him to the very vanguard, to take damage with their faces? Li Weiyi replies that he has a vocation to stand in the front ranks, and it is an honor for him to be a shield for his comrades. He adds that it's better to face monsters than to look back. Xiao just doesn't know that a raging Xiaoyan is scarier than monsters. Xiao doesn't understand and says that Xiaoyan seems like a normal girl. Li Weiyi says that he just came to take a look at the future member of their team. When the 3rd graders finish, the challenges between the winners will start. His family, Xiaoyan's family, they had already discussed everything with the director. He would be looking forward to his performance. Here begins the final among the 3rd-year students, and announced that the 3rd year, the first class is ready to go. Team number 1, Li Weiyi Tank, Shield, Star Map, Shield Kite, 25 slots. From the outside, they say that even though they are classmates, but every time they see him, the heart starts to beat faster. Second, Han Zhangshui Maj, Star Map, Sacred Flame, 30 slots. She is shouted at to step on them, and called the Ice Goddess. Third, Jiayan fighter, star card, two-handed sword, 28 slots. Jiayan notes that Zhu's fans are getting wilder. They tell her that they will always follow her. Xiao, watching all this, thinks, "What a frenzied popularity. Is this some kind of concert?" Luca says admiringly, "This is the same team of school tyrants," she explains. "They are called that because they are the strongest in school and there are no buts." And the last one, Gao Junwei fighter, star card, Tan Dao, 25 slots. He is shouted to hell with all queens and goddesses. The Junwei god is the most beautiful. Li Weiya jokingly tells Gao that no one is taking away his MVP and asks him not to make a fuss. He just tells him to shut his mouth. Noticing the judge, he angrily thinks that this judge just lost his brother's fighting ability. She didn't even whistle, and abruptly asks if they can already start. She shudders and announces, "Third year, first class versus third year, second class match begins." In that team, the girl shouts to listen to her commands. Keep the formation, the other members are barely holding on from fear. Gao surges forward, activates Fear Roar, a mass control skill, and lets out a roar that intimidates enemies in the fan-shaped area in front of him. The girl in front feels her fighting spirit evaporate. Her legs are wobbly, and she subconsciously wants to run. Even knowing in advance that he has the roar of fear, they still can't resist this skill, and wonders why the difference between people is so huge. And unable to stand it, she falls to her knees. That girl screams, "Don't be afraid. It's just a skill effect." The second member of the team also falls, saying desperately that they can't win. He gives up. The girl orders the guy to use explosive flame to interrupt Gao's movement. He obeys and directs the flame at him. Gao calmly defends himself. They shout from the stands, he just crushed them with one skill. This is a fight in general in different weight categories. The gap between them is bigger than between a human and a dog. And how can ordinary people compete with donators because he has a golden skill? The girl barely says not to panic. If they survive this onslaught, and they will have another chance. The next moment, Gao appears in front of her and asks, "What's the point of gritting your teeth and enduring?" and hits her with a charge. The judge declares third year, second class lost combat capability, victory of the first class third year. But after the announcement, Gao does not stop, activates the burning flame, and charge. And he hits her with his sword, blood dripping from it. The referee shouts for a doctor to help her and tells Gao that the match has already been declared over, which is a violation of the rules. He deadpans that he just didn't hear what the panic is about. Isn't that what the school keeps healers for? A minor internal injury? The rest of the team members look at him in shock, and Li Weiyi yells in anger, "Is he completely out of control?" Go replies that this is just an exhibition match. Stop playing the holy fool. Leaving adds that he ended the match alone, so they should thank him. She starts coughing up blood and feels hellish pain. Doctors try to help her, but Xiao activates his blessing and begins to heal her, easing the pain. Gao sees this and says, "Another annoying saint." The man watching all this notes that Gao Junwei is good material, but there is too much malice in him. He will not become great. Director Yan tells everyone that that fight showed a difference in strength, but also exposed a flaw in character. And he says to remember, their power should be directed at monsters from other dimensions and not at their comrades in arms. Those who oppress the weak will end up being crushed by the force themselves, hoping that they will remember his words. And it reminds that according to tradition, then the champions of the first and second years will have the right to challenge the champions of the third year. Regardless of the outcome, there are awards for applicants. From the stands, a guy stands up and announces that the second year team refuses the challenge, and others whisper that their lives are more precious than the reward. Luca anxiously looks at Nana, and she says reassuringly, "Don't worry." In the chat stream, Suzhou writes that the second year students merged, but apparently the first year students are up to something. In the stands, they start talking that even if they have a healer, you can't be so confident. Only the younger one was beaten, and now they climb right on the muzzle of the older one. Cheyenne calling. Xiao shouts, "Don't drift." The sisters are waiting for him. The others are stunned to hear this and say that there are rumors that Xue and Xia Yan personally brought this handsome boy to the school. Xiao, turning to his team, asks what they will say. The younger one immediately picks up and says that whoever gets cold feet is a weakling, they'll just tear them up.